We are Stephen and Jill. Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
Good day.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from the Valley of the Sun.
Jill and I talk about why it makes sense to make your hobby a business sometimes.
My latest hobby is collecting cars. What's yours?
Well,
Kind of the same.
here's what I'm
Our
going
latest
to
hobby.
talk about. If your hobby is price is no object, I want to collect statues, and I will pay top dollar, then making your hobby a business is a super bad idea. If your hobby is to try to get stuff cheap, it's obviously our hobby,
Right.
like land, then maybe you can make a business out of it, which we're in the process of doing, and I'll describe it. Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free. And also, people don't know this. We have Jill and I own and operate a full-blown commercial printing company called Offers to Owners. Over the years, Jill and I internally developed a system to send blind offers to owners, tens of thousands in the mail, sometimes through direct mail. And we found out after we started Land Academy that our members wanted this product. So we launched it probably several years ago. Today, we mail between 700 and 800,000 offers a month on our members' behalf. And I just want you to know about it. Contact support@offers2owners.com or go there and just check it all out. It's pretty straightforward and simple.
Thanks. Mark wrote, just read this great article. I had a question. When I'm buying a land property, I will buy with title insurance. Then when I'm selling with a title company, I'm also purchasing title insurance for the buyer, like $5,000 plus the purchase price. I can't read the whole question here.
That's it.
So, okay. So I didn't know, this Aaron, his name is used a lot. I didn't know if you liked all his questions or if it was a typo. So that's why I didn't say Aaron. Sorry, I made it. But if it really is Aaron, I believe you. So, so this article is...
Let me explain how this works. When you go to buy a piece of...
I know what he's saying. Okay.
When you go to... let me super clarify this, because this is a popular question.
Right.
Especially with new people. When you go to
am I
buy...
doing double work?
When you go to buy a piece of property, whether it's your house or a piece of land, you go through the escrow process. And when you look at the closing statement, one of you, the buyer or the seller, is going to pay for stuff, or sometimes it gets combined. When you buy a piece of property, the person before you, the seller, pays for your title insurance policy. When you go to sell it, because now you're the seller, you pay for the title insurance policy for the next person. Don't ask me why. This is just how it is. And it's a very small amount of money on vacant land, usually $200 or $300, but it varies around the country. So it looks like you're paying for it twice. What you're really doing is paying for the next guy when you sell it.
You know what? Sometimes no offense, I have to interject here. Because sometimes we have to pay closing costs and we pay their title insurance.
That's correct.
That's where he's going with that. Like, wait a minute. Are you guys advocating this? Which is, I think, the question. When I buy it, I told the guy, here's the deal. Net to you is
$10,000.
Exactly. And I'll pay all the costs. And so I make sure that guy, when he gets his check from escrow, it has 1 and 4 zeros on it. Correct. Because that was part of my deal. Well, you know what, Aaron? Yeah, you're right. Because you want to get title insurance. You're doing it all correctly. Make sure that there's no issues. That was right. Yeah, you're kind of eating that cost. But remember, it's because we're teaching you to do what we do, where you buy for 10, you sell for 30. So you're kind of baking it in there. Yeah, you paid an extra, I don't know, when you look at the whole closing thing, maybe it's like $500 to $800 is what the actual title insurance costs, not all the stuff, but just the title insurance policy. Yeah, you're paying for that on the buy side, and then you normally pay for that on the sell side as you do it. Yeah, bake it in. Big deal. $1,600 of title insurance that was maybe redundant, but it doesn't matter because you bought it for 10 and sold it for 30. You like that?
That's
the point. And you're right.
Exactly. It's all math. So
yeah.
Buy for 10, sell for 30, buy for 30, sell for 90, which is really what Jill and I do. We can afford to eat some costs to make it easier for the seller to digest. Hey, you're going to get a $10,000 check. Not, we're going to buy a property for $10,000 and then they end up with an $8,200 check after closing costs. It's a little confusing, but it's all in those closing statements.
That's what part of what makes us special and why these people say yes. Like, I'll make sure you get that much money, period. So good job.
Today's topic, why it makes sense sometimes to make your hobby a business. This is why you're listening.
Oh, I have all kinds of hobbies that I want to make a business.
I'll give you a great example of a hobby that Jill and I created into a business for a bunch of reasons, and it ended up being incredibly beneficial for us from a money standpoint and a tax standpoint to against our regular land business. It's called Land Academy. You know, Jill and I were happily going along, buying and selling land, and very, very successfully. Around 2015, we got tired of answering people's questions about how do you guys buy this property so cheap that you can sell it to me and still be in business? So we made, and then we would tell them. We would
one by one.
We would have consulting calls, and in the beginning we did it for free under the guise of, well, these people have purchased a lot of property from us. They're wholesalers. We want them to continue to do that, and they did. And so it got to be so popular, we decided to make a whole company out of it and teach people how to buy and sell this stuff. So in that case, it made a lot of sense. I've had other people come to me and say, you know, when you're buying and selling a land and you're driving a real fast car and you don't really seem to really do any work at all, people start asking you questions like, what do you do? Like, what is this all about? And you answer them, and invariably they say, you know, I've had this idea for a while. Yeah. And then they lay it all out. And while they're in eighth of a second they're into it, I'm like, this is never going to work. But I say that to myself.
Why don't you tell them that?
Well, I do eventually after I can't take it.
Okay.
Sometimes, if you're lucky, they buy a real expensive glass of scotch while they're telling you their story. The fact is, there's tons and tons of work involved in starting a company and making it viable from a financial standpoint. One part of which, and this is a super essential part in my opinion, you actually have an interest in it. I have a pretty good friend who is very smart, who bought there's a lot of years ago, 5 oil change shops and proceeded to run them very quickly straight into the ground. In my opinion, super bright guy, showed up to work. He just wasn't interested in changing oil.
Well, I had pizza.
Yeah.
We did that.
Tell the story, please.
Yeah. We thought we'd diversify a couple years ago and buy a pizza place, and we're going to make it a chain. But we didn't want to go there. I didn't want to make the pizza. I like to eat the pizza occasionally. That was kind of about it. And it was really fun when we had parties. We could have our own pizza delivered from our own place. That was fun. That was the extent of it. We had to have a good hard look at ourselves and say, because we could have done it. So this is the thing too. I want people to take away from this. Making your hobby business can happen with darn near anything if you're into it, man, and you pour your heart and soul into it. So we had to take a step back and look at ourselves and say, it's a turning point time. Do we want to continue on the path and be Land Academy and land focus and all of that? Or do we want to shift gears and build a pizza empire? Because we know how to do it and we know we can do it. And we both fortunately were on the same page and said, no, pizza's got to go. As fun as that was, that's not what I want to do. The land stuff's better. So we did. So we sold it and moved on.
And here we are, not doing a pizza show.
I know. And we could.
I know.
We could be the only pizza podcast out there. Not kidding. We would be the pizza podcast out there.
I bet there's another one.
I don't know. But building a business, maybe not. Building a pizza empire podcast, I bet there's not one out there. We would have, no matter what, we would have owned it because we don't know how to not go 100%.
That's right.
And go 90 miles an hour. And if you were watching us this week, you would witness this firsthand if you were in our home. But so whatever it is, maybe this is for me. This is sounding like Jill Friday. So thank you for letting me have my moment here. Whatever you really want to go for, if you put your head down and put blinders on and not get distracted by other things, you can turn whatever you really want to into a business.
If you are a member of other land companies out there. There's 3 or 4 that are credible and reputable, I think.
Education places?
Yeah, and education, like Land Academy, but not Land Academy.
Yeah.
I can name them by name, but I won't because I have a little bit of respect for some of them. Most of them, they won't tell you this, but they started and continue to teach or instruct how to buy land because like it's your hobby. Or you buy and sell a couple of properties because you're into it. You know it works.
Right.
However you manage to do that, and maybe you'd offset your mortgage. That's not what Land Academy is.
Kind of a skipping along the top thing.
If you have the personality where, wait a minute, I just bought property for $4,000 and sold it for $9,000 or $8,000 or $12,000 or whatever, and you sit up straight in your chair one day and say, well, what if I did 20 of these a year? And then you do the math and you find out you're going to make $500,000 your first or second year. And then you start to have thoughts like, well, then I wouldn't have to have a job. Then my wife wouldn't have to work. Then we could have an extra baby, whatever you're into.
Yep.
Because of all that, Land Academy is for you. I'm not selling you anything, but we don't know. Julie said it perfectly. We don't know, and our members don't know, most of them, how to not go 100 miles an hour.
Right.
This is not a hobby. We, Jill and I, for some reason, both love cars. We always have. We like separate types of cars.
True.
And so we're just going through our heads right now. Should we make this, get our dealership license and make this a business? Because we're buying these cars and selling them for a lot more because we don't know how to not buy assets cheap.
Exactly.
We are not going to walk into... There's a few exceptions. Retail jewelry is one of Jill's exceptions. And
yes,
we've never talked about having a jewelry business.
No, we have not, but you've done that.
I haven't failed at it because I'm not into it. So I hope I've made my point. If you're the person who has to go 100 miles an hour and figure stuff out, check us out.
I love it. Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us here on the Land Academy Show.
Tomorrow, the episode in the Land Academy Show, well, I'm going to sit down and on the video, Jill and I are, and we're going to walk through the Land Academy Discord channel. And I'm going to show you what's going on because it's just blown out of control in a great way. And all of the Land Academy members that we have are helping each other out. I'm in there every day making comments. We've got 3 moderators who are responding to just about every question. So I think it's time to really do a walkthrough, and we're going to do it on YouTube. We'll post it on YouTube like we do with all the podcasts, but I'm going to try to do it so that if you're listening in your car and you listen to the podcast, many more people listen to this than watch it. And so I will explain some stuff, but I will walk through it verbally too, so you can get a feel for what's in there.
You're going to want to see it if you can.
Yeah. Hey, you're not alone in your real estate ambition.
I would like to make a comment. I picked up on a funny phrase that you said a few minutes ago, which is if you want to have an extra baby.
Yeah.
Who wants to have an extra baby?
Did I say extra?
Yeah, you said extra baby. I don't want, I could, boy, there's a couple of extras that we have now that.
I exclude this, obviously. I exclude us from this stuff. But some people are like, I want to have a baby, but I can't afford it.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
Okay. It's kind of fun. I've never heard of it as an extra baby. Hi, have you met Johnny? He's our extra baby. Yeah. We got into this land business so we could afford him.
We thought we were going to have 2. Now we have 5.
Now we have 5. Turns out we make a lot of money at it. So we had 3 extra babies.
Yeah. If your hobby is having babies, maybe you can make some money off of that.
Yeah. All right. We need to stop that now. Thanks for tuning in. By the way, Jack and I are actually very aware that not all of you have extra money lying around to buy and fund your own deals. So don't worry, we are here to help you. We at Land Academy and many of our members love funding other members' deals. So check out our site. Either go to landinvestors.com or to go to landfunding.com, and you'll find out more information. We are Steve and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.